What is up guys, Sharpwind here. Now I gotta say that I was surprised. In my last video, the 18 useful tips for Mine-Imator users, I gave you a tip on the explosions. And I personally thought you guys are gonna say, that's a sloppy explosion, doesn't look original, it's But actually, you guys loved it. You guys were thrilled about the explosion, and I started getting a ton of requests to make a full-blown tutorial on it. I actually have like 2 tutorials planned already, but I gotta postpone them because this is obviously more important right now. So we're doing an explosion tutorial. Also, I noticed a couple of people getting very excited about the Divided 4 spoiler I posted. Well, if that's the case, I suggest you follow my Twitter account, because that's where I post my Divided 4 spoilers. No, if you don't want to see spoilers, don't go there, because there's Divided everywhere. Also, including GIFs, so you can see like tiny parts of the animation which are already done. That's a pretty interesting thing, so if you want to see Divided spoilers, I suggest you go into the Twitter account. Also, I want to ask you to show your support to the channel by clicking that subscribe button, you know, self-promotion and stuff. And with that on the side, let's get on the tutorial. So here we are in Mine-Imator. I'm gonna start by adding a sphere to the project. Put it in the center of the world, or anywhere you want it to be. Okay, go to customization point, put everything to 0, so now it's in the center. Your sphere is now in the ground. Go to color, put the brightness on 100%, mix color 100%, and select any color you want. You can have a red explosion, a green one, a yellow one, any color you want actually. But I'm gonna go with white because that's the one I chose in the tip, and because I personally like the white color. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna animate it. So what is an explosion? It's basically just like scale it up, scale it down. That's all I did. It's simple. So I want the explosion to start at like 12 ticks. This is where it's gonna be scaled to 0. I can delete the first frame, so now it's just scaled down. And I want my explosion to go disappearing at this point. As you see, I played the timeline out. Imagine the explosion, so now I got the timing down. That's how I get my timing on my animations. And make a frame here, obviously. I want to select this middle frame and scale it up by as much as I want my explosion to be big. So let's say I'm making an explosion yay big. So this is it. Now obviously we gotta add transitions. So select the first frame, go down to the keyframe options, and give it an exponential? No, that's too much. Quint, and then quint ease in, where I find it. So now we got this. That's too much. Okay, let's go with quart. Let's see. I think that should do. Now what I want to do, brightness on 100%, you gotta be careful about that. I want to duplicate my sphere by clicking this little icon. So now I have 2, which are the exact same. This one is already animated. That's why we have to animate the first one and then duplicate it. So we have the animation already copied. Select the middle frame here and scale it up more than the first one. So now the second one scales up more and kind of overlays the first one. Now you can decrease the alpha to like 60 and you get this. Maybe scale it down a bit so it's not too much. Copy that one, go to the middle frame, scale it up even more, put the alpha down even lower, and copy it once again. So we have like 4 stages. That's what I did in the tip. And now we have this. Boom! Like this is your explosion now. Next up, I want to select all of my spheres and go to the graphics tab and click affected by wind. So now they should be affected by wind, but I don't see any wind because I probably have it turned off. This is my test. Yeah, look at the wind. Increase the wind speed. So as you see, you get this. Maybe the wind strength. 0.4. Let's say this is it. And this is your first basic shape. Now what I want to do is put the spheres in a folder, call it sphere, so it stands out and you still know what it is. So this is your sphere. Now I also want to add an inverted cone. So add a cone, click this invert icon. Sorry about this text, by the way. I can't seem to activate my windows. It's supposed to be activated. Now I want to animate the cone, but I don't know where to start, how to place it. So I'm just gonna go to this frame where everything is already scaled up. Select the cone, bring it out so you know where it is. Brightness 100%, mix percent, have it be the exact same color as your sphere is. Now I want to turn it upside down, so rotate it by 180 degrees. I don't like the rotation point, by the way. I want it to scale up from this little tip. So customization point, put it to 8. And I believe this is, yeah, this is it. Now put the cone in the center of the world, so now it's in the exact same place as your sphere. Scale this cone up. I want this cone to be more flat and not as vertical. So what I'm going to do is I want to scale up the X and the Z. Just a little bit. So yeah, this is it. Now, as you see, we get this glitch right here. This is the alpha glitch, so mess with the render depth. I think you should go lower. But obviously this is a bit of big, so let's just adjust this. Let's say this is it. Once you have this little thing done, click Affected by Wind. If you want to, go to the first frame and just scale it down to 0. Go to the next frame, scale it down to 0. And this is it. Now apply the same transition effects as we did before, so this is it. Now do the same thing with the cone, so copy it, have the alpha be down a bit, now scale it up, scale it wide, copy the cone again, scale it up even more, have the alpha slowly drop down. So now we got this. This is your explosion so far. Great, I don't see any flaws here, so I'm just gonna put these cones in a folder, name it cone. When you have these two, I want to add those little cylinder lasers as I did in my tip. So I'm just gonna import a cylinder. I'm basically building my explosion out of nothing. This is it. There's nothing special to it. One more thing I should mention, as you see, the top of this cone is now going through the floor, so this isn't good. That's because the render depth is lower than 0 and these are transparent. That's the problem. This is why you put them in a folder, so you can control the render depth altogether. Raise the sphere's render depth to about 2 and raise the cone's render depth to 1. So now the cone is okay, but the sphere kind of made these inner spheres disappear. So this one should have a render depth of 1. This one should have a render depth of not 1 but 0, and the inner sphere should have the lowest render depth, which in this case is lower than 0 again. So there would be a glitch appearing right now, but this one has an alpha of 100. If I lower the alpha, you can see through it. But since this one isn't transparent at all, there's no glitch appearing, so you can have it below 0 and be fully confident that there will be no glitching going on. So this, what I have right here, is great. Once we had this done, we can move on to the cylinder. So this is the explosion's peak. This is where I want to animate my cylinder. As you see, the cylinder has this nice little rotation point at the bottom, which is very handy for me right now, and I'm gonna show you why. Put the brightness to 100, put the mix color to 100. Now, since my cylinder is already white, I don't have to use the mix color, but I'm using it so you guys will know to do it as well. Now, this cylinder will not be affected by wind because it's a straight laser. That's something to note. And I want to put it in the center of the world. Because this is my peak of the animation, I can simply, you know, just scale it up as much as I want. Now, what I want to do is scale up the Y. And as you see, the cylinder is only going up in one direction because we can now rotate it. We can scale it up to infinity, and this is our laser. This is how I got my lasers. Of course, I want the laser to be a little thicker. Once again, you gotta scale each axis individually. So let's just go with 2. Let's scale it down. Well, let's just animate it. Give it the transitions. So this happened. I don't want the cylinder coming back in the explosion at this point, so at the final keyframe, I'm just gonna bring up the Y again and have it simply disappear like that. Not going backwards, maybe scale it up even more, but simply scaling inwards. So it's like disappears inside of itself, not coming back to its explosion, but disappears inside itself, which looks nice in my opinion. You can do what you want, basically animate your explosion. Once again, copy the cylinder, go to the middle frame, put the alpha down a bit, and scale the X and the Z thing. Maybe put the alpha down lower. In the cylinders, I want to have 3 stages, not 4. That's a personal reference. You can have 4, you can have 5,000 if you want, but I want to keep it on 4. This is it. This is my cylinder. It's already animated because I copied it. Now, the interesting part, put the cylinder in a folder, call it cylinder. Now what you can do, this is a folder, right? So now you can animate this as well. So let's say you want your cylinder to be rotating around the explosion. You can do it because it's in a folder. So if I rotate this, what's gonna happen is the cylinder will rotate with the explosion. Of course, that's too much, I'm just demonstrating, but I do want to add some rotation to it. Now they're moving like this. This is your explosion right now. The cylinders, however, got the alpha glitch again. So put this cylinder to like 2, this one to 1, and the first one to 0, so they're all visible. Be careful about the alpha glitch, it's a pain in the ass when you're doing stuff like this. This is it. Once this is out of the way, I'm gonna open up Google, go to Images, and browse shockwave texture. As you see, I already browsed it because I used it in the tip. And you get something like this. Now this one looks nice, but it's got the black background, which I don't like, and I can't use it in Mine-Imator. I'm gonna show you a powerful tool on how you can search for the image you want. Click this Tools button, and it will drop down a couple of options here. Go to Color, and click Transparent. This will only browse for the transparent textures, which you can obviously use anywhere you want, because the background is transparent. Right click, save image as shockwave. Save. Now I can close Google up, and if I come in here, add a surface, this is now my surface. I want to go to texture and click browse. Now browse for this shockwave texture, and this is your shockwave in Mine-Imator. This is how you add those images. I want to change the custom rotation point to full 0 and rotate it sideways to exactly 90 degrees. Now this is your shockwave. Raise it up from the ground so it doesn't glitch when you stretch it out. Also put the brightness to 100%. This is your shockwave. And go to RGB add and drag this up to white. Have it be the same color as your explosion. In my case this is white, so that's it. This is where the explosion starts, so this is where it's gonna be scaled down to absolute 0. But when the explosion goes up, the shockwave is already out of the way. So let's, yeah, that's something, but I want to make it go faster. So basically I scaled it up, and when it comes here, I want it to fade slowly. So add another frame here, scale it up even more, and slowly put the alpha back to 0. So now this should happen. And it also fades here, kind of disappears at the end. So this is my explosion. This is how I got the shockwave. One more thing is the particles. I have a particle tutorial. If you want to see it, it's right here. So click that if you want to see it. But for now, I'm just gonna skip to this part because I don't have much time in this video left. So I made this, like a little particle burst full of dirt blocks for some reason. And now it summons instantly, so I should create a frame here. So when it gets past this point, bam, the particles are gonna spawn. And this already looks like a powerful explosion. It's amazing. So I want to add a camera, the last thing. So add a camera, which is gonna be stationary for the most of the time. And when the shockwave reaches the camera, which is on, let's say this frame, we give it a little bit of a camera shake. The way you do this, okay, first let's have the camera actually be facing the explosion. By the way, if your particles are lagging, there's too much particles, click the C on your keyboard to clear the particles. That's the shortcut. The way I do my camera shakes is simply make a frame, move the camera, make a frame, move the camera, make a frame, move the camera. Note, you gotta move the camera less and less because it's easing down. So now I'm just making the most minuscule of moves, and this is it. I'm happy with the results. So now if I play this, yeah, of course the particles are lagging, the particles should be bursting around. So let's just do the last depth of blur thing. Select all the camera keyframes, click depth of field, turn on the high quality render, adjust the range and of course the fade size. Have it slightly blurred, I don't know. One more precaution, there's a little glitch in Mine-Imator. You see the sphere here? It's not applying the blur behind it, that's a Mine-Imator glitch. I don't think you can fix it. It's not an alpha glitch, it's not something you fix with render depth, so this is your limitation, if I may say so. So if you can, just don't use the depth of field. So I'm gonna turn it off entirely. Now one more thing, you see the shadows on the ground? I don't want that, so select all your spheres, take off cast shadows, cone, take off cast shadows, and this is it. This is your explosion. Final thing is export, so just click this export icon. I'm gonna export at 60 frames and the best quality because my computer can support it. Click save, explosion, save. Now we wait. So, how was your day? This is taking quite a while actually. I'm surprised. Oh, it's done. So this is the final product, the explosion that we had made. That's the full tutorial. It's not complicated at all, but now you understand how it's going. You can expect some very important tutorials in the next few days, if I'm lucky and get the time to record them. But yeah, that was the explosion tutorial, and thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed watching, and follow the Twitter account if you want to see divided spoilers. If you want to see them. Don't forget to suggest your tutorials, as you guys are my inspiration to make them. So you decide what I do, you decide when I do, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and stay sharp.